The ultrasound screen flickered blue and gray, and Dr. Harrison's hands went completely still on the probe. His face changed in a way that made my throat close up. Not slowly. Not gradually. 1 second he was looking at my baby, the next he was staring at the monitor like he'd seen something impossible. "Is everything okay?" I asked, trying to laugh it off. "Is the baby hiding again?" He didn't answer. Just kept staring. His jaw tightened. I watched his eyes move across the screen, back and forth, like he was reading something he couldn't believe. "Dr. Harrison?" He pulled the probe away from my belly, set it down with hands that weren't quite steady. Then he turned to face me directly, and what I saw in his expression made my heart slam against my ribs. "Is your husband here with you today?" he asked. "No, he had a work emergency." "Why? What's wrong with the baby?" He glanced at the door. Rolled his chair closer to me. Lowered his voice. "You shouldn't go home," he said quietly. "Not today." The air left my lungs. "What?" "I need you to stay calm and listen to me very carefully." My hands went to my stomach instinctively. "Is the baby okay? Please, just tell me." "The baby is fine right now," he said, but his eyes were scanning my face like he was looking for injuries. "But I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest with me. Do you feel safe at home?" The question hit me like cold water. What kind of question is that? Please just answer me. Of course I feel safe. My husband is, he's wonderful. He takes care of everything. Something flickered across Dr. Harrison's face. Not relief. Something darker. "Everything?" he repeated. "Why are you asking me this?" He stood up, walked to the door, checked the hallway, then closed it firmly. When he turned back to me, his professional mask had cracked completely. "How long have you been married?" 13 months. "Dr. Harrison, you're scaring me. What is going on? And how far along did I tell you that you were at your last appointment?" 18 weeks. I'm 21 weeks now." He pulled up something on his computer. Clicked through screens with increasing urgency. Then he turned the monitor toward me. "According to the measurements I'm seeing today, you're 28 weeks pregnant." The world tilted. "That's not possible. You measured me yourself 3 weeks ago." "I know what I measured," he said quietly. "And I know what I'm seeing now. These measurements don't match. Not even close." My mind was spinning. "Then you made a mistake." "Maybe the machine." "I didn't make a mistake." His voice was firm now. "Professional. And there's something else. Your medical records. The ones in our system. They've been accessed and modified multiple times in the past 3 months." "Modified? By who?" "That's what I'm trying to figure out." He pulled up another screen. "But whoever did it has been changing dates, test results, measurements. Someone has been deliberately keeping you in the dark about your actual pregnancy timeline." My hands were shaking. "This doesn't make any sense. How much of your medical information does your husband handle?" The question felt like an accusation. "He comes to appointments with me. He helps me remember things. I've been so scattered lately, pregnancy brain, you know." "Does he ever answer questions for you? Fill out forms? Talk to nurses when you're not in the room?" "Yes, but that's because he's supportive. He cares." Dr. Harrison's expression told me he didn't agree. I never thought I'd be sitting in a hospital room being told not to trust my own husband. At 29 years old, I thought I'd finally figured out my life. I met Marcus 2 years ago at a charity event my company sponsored. He was charming, successful, attentive in ways I'd never experienced before. He pursued me like I was the only woman in the world. We got married after 10 months. Fast, maybe, but it felt right. He was stable, secure, everything I thought I wanted. When I got pregnant 4 months after the wedding, he was overjoyed. Emotional, even. He cried when I showed him the test. I'm going to take care of you, he'd promised. Both of you. You'll never have to worry about anything. And he had. He'd taken over everything. Scheduled my appointments, organized my vitamins, kept track of my symptoms. I thought I was lucky. Blessed, even. Now Dr. Harrison was telling me that care might have been something else entirely. I need you to think carefully, he was saying. Has your husband ever insisted on being present for every appointment? Has he ever discouraged you from coming alone? I opened my mouth to say no. Then closed it. 3 weeks ago, I'd suggested coming to this appointment by myself. Marcus had a big presentation at work. I told him it was just a routine check, no big deal. He'd convinced me to reschedule. I don't want to miss a single moment, he'd said, kissing my forehead. These memories are everything to me. So I'd rescheduled. For today. When he was supposed to be here. Except this morning, he'd gotten an emergency call. Had to go into the office. Looked genuinely upset about it. I'm so sorry, baby, he'd said. I'll make it up to you. Just get the pictures, okay? I want to see everything. I thought it was sweet. Disappointed but understanding. Now that disappointment was starting to look different. He's always at my appointments, I admitted quietly. Always? Every single one. Until today. Dr. Harrison nodded slowly, like I'd just confirmed something terrible. What does this mean? I asked. Why would he change my records? Why would he want me to think I'm less pregnant than I actually am? I don't know yet. But I need to run some additional tests. And I need you to not tell him about this conversation. He's my husband. I know. And I could be completely wrong about this. But if I'm not? He paused, choosing his words carefully. If I'm not, then you need to be very careful about what information you share with him until we understand what's happening. My phone buzzed in my purse. A text from Marcus. How's my baby mama? How's our little one? Can't wait to hear all about it. I stared at the message. At the heart emoji. At the words that yesterday would have made me smile. I need to call him, I said. He'll worry if I don't respond. Tell him everything's fine. Normal appointment. Baby's healthy. You want me to lie? I want you to be safe while I figure out what's actually happening here. My finger hovered over the phone. This was Marcus. The man who brought me tea every morning. Who rubbed my feet when they swelled. Who talked to my belly every night before bed. The man who apparently had been accessing my medical records and changing information without my knowledge. I typed back, all good. Baby's perfect. See you tonight. He responded immediately, love you so much. Making your favorite dinner. Dr. Harrison was watching me. What did he say? He's making dinner. Do you have somewhere else you can stay tonight? Family? Friends? You're really serious about this. I'm very serious. But you said the baby's fine. The baby's measurements are fine. But something else is very wrong here, and until I know what it is, I don't want you alone with him. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. This is insane. This is my husband. He loves me. I'm sure he does. But love doesn't explain why your medical records have been tampered with. Love doesn't explain why your pregnancy timeline has been deliberately obscured. Then what does explain it? His pause was too long. I have some theories. But I need to make some calls first. Will you wait here? How long? An hour. Maybe less. I'm going to contact our records department, maybe hospital security. And I want to run one more ultrasound, a more detailed one, to check some specific things. What things? I'd rather not say until I'm certain. The evasiveness was terrifying. Dr. Harrison, if something's wrong with my baby, you need to tell me right now. Your baby's vitals are perfect. Strong heartbeat, good movement, healthy measurements for 28 weeks. But there are some other indicators that are concerning me. Not about the baby's health. About the circumstances of your pregnancy. What does that mean? Please. Just give me an hour. I wanted to argue. I wanted to demand answers. But the look on his face stopped me. This wasn't a doctor being cautious. This was a man who'd seen something that genuinely scared him. Okay, I whispered. 1 hour. He stepped out of the room, and I was alone with my racing thoughts and my growing belly and a phone full of loving messages from a husband I was suddenly terrified of. I pulled up our text history. Scrolled through weeks of sweet messages. Pictures of nursery furniture he'd bought. Links to parenting articles. Constant check-ins about how I was feeling. It all looked so normal. So loving. So why did my hands shake as I read them now? The door opened, and a nurse I'd never seen before came in. Young, maybe mid-20s, with kind eyes and a professional smile. Mrs. Reeves? Dr. Harrison asked me to sit with you while he makes some calls. I'm Jenny. I don't need a babysitter. I know. But hospital policy for, certain situations. What situations? She hesitated. When there are concerns about a patient's home environment. So that's what this was. Officially. On the record. Concerns about my home environment. My husband has never hurt me, I said. I'm glad to hear that. He's never even raised his voice to me. That's good. So whatever Dr. Harrison thinks is happening. I don't know what Dr. Harrison thinks, Jenny interrupted gently. I just know he asked me to make sure you're comfortable while you wait. Can I get you anything? Water? Crackers? I shook my head. Then changed my mind. Water would be good. She left and returned quickly with a bottle and a package of graham crackers. Sat down in the chair by the door. Not blocking it, exactly, but positioned in a way that made me think she was supposed to notice if I tried to leave. How long have you worked here? I asked, just to fill the silence. 2 years. You like it? Most days. What about today? She gave me a sad smile. Today's been complicated. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Marcus. Picked up those prenatal vitamins you were running low on. The organic ones you like. I showed it to Jenny. Does this look like a threatening husband to you? She read it carefully. I've learned that threatening can look a lot of different ways. That's not an answer. No, she agreed. It's not. Before I could respond, Dr. Harrison came back in, and his expression made my stomach drop. I spoke with our IT department, he said, closing the door behind him. The access logs for your medical records show multiple logins from an external account. Someone's been accessing your file remotely using your patient portal credentials. I don't even know my portal login, I said. Marcus set all that up for me. Does he have access to your email? We share everything. It's not a secret, we trust each other. I stopped. Heard how defensive I sounded. Dr. Harrison pulled up his chair again. I also looked more carefully at your ultrasound history. Every measurement, every date, every notation. And I found something extremely concerning. What? According to your records, at your very first appointment, you measured at 6 weeks pregnant. That was 11 months ago. Right. That's when I found out. But 11 months ago would put you at. He paused, doing math, 44 weeks now. That's impossible. Obviously that's wrong. I'm only 21 weeks. 28 weeks according to today's measurements. But here's what's interesting. At your first appointment, the original measurement recorded by the technician was 14 weeks. I found it in a backup file that hadn't been modified. Someone changed it to 6 weeks afterward. The room spun. Why would anyone do that? To make you think you got pregnant later than you actually did. The implication hit me like a truck. No, I said immediately. No, absolutely not. I know exactly when I got pregnant. Marcus and I were trying. We know the exact week it happened. Do you? Yes. It was our anniversary trip. We went to Napa Valley. 4 months after the wedding. Are you certain? Of course I'm certain. Do you remember the actual conception? Specific nights? Heat flushed my face. That's not really something you remember with perfect clarity. But you remember being in Napa Valley. Yes. Do you remember the entire trip? I opened my mouth. Closed it. The truth was, I didn't remember much of that trip. We'd toured wineries, even though I couldn't drink because we were trying for a baby. We'd stayed at a beautiful hotel. Marcus had been so romantic, so attentive. But specific days? Specific moments? They blurred together. I remember being there, I said finally. What if I told you that based on today's measurements, your actual conception date would have been approximately 7 months ago, not 4? That's not possible. Why not? Because 7 months ago, Marcus and I weren't even, we were engaged, but we weren't. I trailed off. 7 months ago, I was still living alone in my apartment. Marcus and I were planning the wedding. We saw each other on weekends mostly. He was busy with work. I would remember, I said firmly. I would remember if something happened. Would you? The question hung in the air like poison. What are you suggesting? I asked, my voice shaking. I'm not suggesting anything yet. I'm just telling you what the medical evidence shows. And I need to ask you something else, and I need you to really think before you answer. Have there been any periods of time in the past year where you felt foggy? Confused? Where you lost time or couldn't remember things clearly? I wanted to say no. I wanted to be certain. But the truth was, there had been times. Especially early in the pregnancy. Weeks where everything felt like I was moving through water. Where entire days disappeared into exhaustion and brain fog. Pregnancy brain, I whispered. Everyone gets it. To what degree? I don't know. It was bad for a while. I'd forget conversations we'd had. Lose track of days. Marcus would remind me of things I'd said or done, and I just couldn't remember. Dr. Harrison exchanged a look with Jenny that made my blood run cold. What? I demanded. What was that look? Mrs. Reeves, he said carefully. I want to run a blood panel. Test for some specific substances. What kind of substances? Sedatives. Memory-affecting drugs. I want to see if there's anything in your system that might explain the cognitive issues you've been experiencing. My laugh came out broken and bitter. You think my husband has been drugging me? I think something very wrong is happening, and I need to rule out all possibilities. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Then let me run the tests and prove it's insane. Let me show you there's nothing to worry about. But his face told me he already knew what he'd find. My phone buzzed again. I looked down at the screen. You've been there a long time. Everything okay? Marcus. Checking on me. Caring, attentive Marcus. I thought about the vitamins he brought me every morning. The special prenatal tea he made. The smoothies he insisted would help with my energy. I need to throw up, I said suddenly. Jenny was there immediately with a basin, but nothing came up. Just dry heaves and terror. I want to run the tests, I said when I could breathe again. Run all of them. Dr. Harrison nodded and left the room quickly. Jenny stayed with me, handed me water, didn't ask questions. Has this happened before? I finally asked her. Women coming in and finding out something like this? She was quiet for a long moment. Every situation is different. That's not an answer. No, she agreed. But I'm not allowed to talk about other patients. I'm not asking for details. I'm asking if I'm crazy for even considering that my husband might be, what? Drugging me? Lying about when I got pregnant? Why would anyone do that? I don't know your specific situation, Jenny said carefully. But I've seen people do terrible things for all kinds of reasons. Money. Control. Fear. Sometimes there is no good reason at all. Marcus doesn't need money. He's a financial consultant. He makes good money. What about you? I work in marketing. I make decent money, but nothing compared to, I stopped. Wait. Why are you asking about me? Just trying to understand your situation. I have a trust fund, I said slowly. From my grandmother. It's not huge, but it's substantial. It becomes fully accessible when I have a child. Jenny's expression didn't change, but something in her eyes did. How much is substantial? $2 million. The silence that followed was deafening. Does your husband know about it? She asked. Of course. We don't have secrets. Is it in your name only? Yes, but we're married. Community property and all that. Unless it's specifically designated as separate property in a prenatal agreement. We didn't do a prenup. Marcus said they were unromantic. That they showed a lack of trust. Another significant pause. I shouldn't have said that, Jenny said quietly. About the prenup. That's not my place. But she'd said it. And now I couldn't unhear it. I thought about our wedding. How Marcus had been so romantic about the whole thing. How he'd said he wanted our marriage to be based on love, not legal contracts. I thought it was sweet. Now I wondered if it was strategic. Dr. Harrison came back in with a phlebotomist. We're going to draw blood now. A full panel. It'll take a few hours to get results, but I'm putting a rush on it. I held out my arm. Watched my blood fill vial after vial. Watched the physical evidence of whatever truth was hiding inside me get labeled and logged and sent away for analysis. What do I do now? I asked when they were done. You wait. And you stay here where you're safe. I can't just disappear. Marcus will panic. He'll call the police. So call him. Tell him you're staying for observation. Tell him the doctor wants to monitor the baby. He'll come here. We won't let him up to this floor. Not without your permission. This is crazy. This is actually crazy. My phone rang. Marcus. Not texting anymore. Calling. Answer it, Dr. Harrison said. Act normal. Tell him what I just said. My hand shook as I swiped to accept the call. Hey, baby, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Finally. I was getting worried. You've been there forever. His voice was warm, familiar, beloved. Is everything okay? Actually, they want to keep me for a few hours. For observation. What? Why? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, the doctor saw something he wants to monitor. Just to be safe. I'm coming there right now. No, don't. There's no point. I'm just going to be lying here being bored. You'd hate it. I don't care. You shouldn't be alone. I'm not alone. I'm in a hospital full of doctors and nurses. I forced a laugh. Honestly, Marcus, I'm fine. The baby's fine. They're just being overly cautious. What did they see? Something about the measurements. They want to do more tests. What kind of tests? The question was casual. But something in his tone made my skin crawl. Just ultrasound stuff. Extra monitoring. You know how doctors are. Which doctor? Harrison? Yeah. I don't like him. I've never liked him. He always looks at you weird. I'd never heard Marcus say that before. Never heard any criticism of Dr. Harrison at all. He's just being thorough, I said. Maybe we should switch doctors. Get a second opinion. Marcus, I'm literally at the hospital right now. We can talk about this later. I'm coming there. Please don't. I'm exhausted and I just want to rest. I'll call you when I'm done, okay? A long pause. Too long. Okay, he finally said. But I want you to call me in an hour. Even if nothing's changed. I need to know you're all right. I will. I love you so much, Mia. You and our baby are everything to me. I love you too, I said automatically. But as I hung up, I realized I wasn't sure if it was true anymore. He wanted to come, I told Dr. Harrison. I heard. You did well. He said he's never liked you. That you look at me weird. Interesting. Is it? It means he's noticed me paying attention. Which means he knows what he's doing is observable. You're assuming he's doing something. Yes, Dr. Harrison said simply. I am. Jenny's radio crackled. She stepped into the hallway to answer it, came back looking tense. There's a man in the lobby asking about Mia Reeves, she said. Tall, dark hair, expensive suit. Says he's her husband. My heart stopped. He's here? He said he wouldn't come. He lied, Dr. Harrison said flatly. Jenny, tell security he's not allowed on this floor. If he insists, have them escort him out of the building. On what grounds? Patient request. Mrs. Reeves has specifically declined to see him. I didn't say that, I protested. Are you saying you want to see him? I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Did I want to see Marcus? My husband? The father of my baby? Or did I want to see the man who might have been drugging me? Who might have been manipulating my pregnancy timeline for reasons I didn't understand? I don't know, I whispered. Then the answer is no until you know yes. Jenny, make the call. She left. Dr. Harrison pulled his chair close again. I need to tell you something else I found, he said. Your insurance records show that you've had 3 previous ultrasounds at different facilities. Did you know that? No. I've only had ultrasounds here. That's what I thought. But according to the billing records, you've been to 2 other imaging centers and 1 urgent care clinic in the past 6 months. All appointments scheduled under your name, using your insurance. That's impossible. I would remember that. Would you? You said you've been having memory issues. Not that bad. Not bad enough to forget entire doctor's appointments. What if you were sedated for them? What if someone took you while you were impaired? Stop. Just stop. I put my hands over my ears like a child. This is too much. This is too insane. I know it's a lot. You're telling me my husband has been drugging me, taking me to fake appointments, changing my medical records, and lying about when I got pregnant. Why? For what possible reason? The trust fund. That doesn't explain the pregnancy timing. If he just wanted the money, why would he care when I actually conceived? Dr. Harrison was quiet for a long moment. What if you didn't conceive with him at all? The words hit me like a physical blow. No. Absolutely not. That's not possible. Mia, if you were sedated, if someone orchestrated a situation where... Stop. I can't. I can't hear this right now. But my mind was racing. 7 months ago. I tried to remember. Marcus and I were engaged. We weren't living together yet. I was still in my apartment. There had been a weekend. I remembered because I'd been so sick afterward. Marcus had brought me soup, taken care of me. Said I must have gotten food poisoning at a restaurant we'd gone to. But I didn't remember the restaurant. Didn't remember much of that weekend at all. I was sick, I said slowly. 7 months ago. Really sick. For like 4 days. Marcus took care of me. Dr. Harrison leaned forward. Do you remember what kind of sick? Nauseous. Dizzy. Couldn't think straight. He said it was food poisoning. Did you see a doctor? No. Marcus said it wasn't necessary. That it would pass on its own. And did it? Eventually. But I was foggy for weeks after. Had trouble concentrating at work. I thought maybe I'd hit my head or something, but I couldn't remember doing it. Did you tell Marcus about the confusion? Yeah. He was really concerned. He started bringing me supplements. To help with my focus and energy. The room was spinning again. What kind of supplements? Dr. Harrison asked. I don't know. He bought them from some specialized pharmacy. Said they were specifically formulated for women's health. Do you still have them? He gives them to me every morning with breakfast. I never even looked at the bottles. Dr. Harrison pulled out his phone, typed something quickly. I'm going to have someone meet you at your house when you're ready to leave here. A police officer. To escort you while you collect some belongings. I want those supplement bottles. Police? You want to involve the police? If what I suspect is happening is actually happening, this is already a police matter. Based on what? Suspicious timing and some foggy memories? That's not evidence. The blood work will be evidence. The modified medical records are evidence. The unauthorized access to your patient files is evidence. Jenny came back in, looking worried. He's refusing to leave. He's demanding to see his wife. Security's trying to de-escalate, but he's getting agitated. I could picture it. Marcus in the lobby, confused and worried about his pregnant wife. Looking like the concerned husband he'd always seemed to be. Or Marcus in the lobby, panicking because his carefully constructed plan was unraveling. Let me go talk to him, I said. Absolutely not. He's not going to hurt me in a hospital lobby full of people. You don't know that. I know Marcus. Even if everything you're saying is true, he's not violent. He's calculated. He's careful. He's not going to make a scene. Dr. Harrison studied my face. You want to see him? I need to see him. I need to look him in the eye and see if any of this is real. If you're wrong, then I'm wrong and you can say I told you so from my hospital bed. But right now, everything you're telling me is circumstantial. I need to know for myself. At least wait for the blood results. How long? Another hour. Maybe 2. My phone rang again. Marcus. I let it go to voicemail. Immediately, a text came through, security won't let me up. What's going on? Are you okay? Please call me. Another text, Mia, I'm scared. Please just tell me you're alright. Another, if you don't answer in 5 minutes I'm calling the police. He's threatening to call the police, I said. Let him. We haven't done anything wrong. Haven't we? You're keeping a husband from his wife without any actual proof of wrongdoing. Dr. Harrison's expression hardened. Fine. You want to see him? We'll bring him up. But it happens in a controlled environment. Security present. Door unlocked. Me in the room. And if at any point you feel uncomfortable, you say the word and he's removed immediately. I nodded. My heart was hammering so hard I felt sick. Jenny made the call. Within minutes, I heard voices in the hallway. Marcus's voice, specifically. Loud but trying to stay calm. I just want to see my wife. That's all. I just need to know she's okay. The door opened, and there he was. Marcus. 6'2", runner's build, perfectly styled dark hair, expensive suit slightly rumpled from stress. He looked exhausted. Terrified. When he saw me, relief flooded his face. Oh, thank God, he breathed, moving toward me. Dr. Harrison stepped between us. Mr. Reeves, you can see your wife from there. This is close enough for now. Marcus stopped, confusion flickering across his features. What's going on? Why is everyone acting like I'm a threat? No one said you're a threat, I said, my voice shakier than I wanted. They're just being cautious. Cautious about what? Mia, what happened? What did they tell you? There were some irregularities in my medical records. They're looking into it. What kind of irregularities? Dates that don't match. Measurements that were changed. I watched his face carefully. Looking for guilt. For panic. For recognition. I saw only confusion. Changed by who? He asked. That's what we're trying to figure out. And they think I did it? Is that what this is? They think I somehow hacked into hospital records? Someone accessed my patient portal. Someone who had my login information. Lots of people could have that. Your email gets hacked all the time. Remember last year when someone got into your Amazon account? He was right. That had happened. I'd had to change all my passwords. This is different, Dr. Harrison said. How? The pattern of access correlates specifically with appointment dates. With times when you were present at this hospital. So what, you think I was sitting in the waiting room hacking my wife's medical records? To what end? That's what I'm hoping you can tell us. Marcus looked genuinely baffled. He turned to me, hurt in his eyes. Mia, you know me. You know I would never do anything to hurt you or the baby. What is happening right now? The measurements are wrong, I said quietly. According to today's ultrasound, I'm much further along than we thought. How much further? 7 months instead of 4. I watched the information process across his face. Watched him do the math. Saw the moment he understood what that would mean. That's not possible, he said slowly. Why not? Because 7 months ago we were engaged but we hadn't. He trailed off, looking between me and Dr. Harrison. You can't possibly think. I don't know what to think, I said honestly. But something is very wrong here, Marcus. And someone has been lying to me about my own pregnancy. It's not me. Mia, I swear to God, it's not me. Then who? I don't know. Maybe the hospital made a mistake. Maybe the equipment is wrong. Maybe. Multiple pieces of equipment at multiple facilities over multiple months. All consistently wrong in the same direction? He had no answer for that. What about that weekend I was sick? I asked, watching him carefully. 7 months ago. I was really sick, and you took care of me. You had food poisoning from that Thai place. What Thai place? I don't remember a Thai place. Because you were sick. You don't remember most of that weekend. What else happened that weekend, Marcus? Nothing happened. You were sick in bed. I brought you soup and crackers and ginger ale. You slept most of the time. The whole weekend? Most of it. You were really out of it. Did I see anyone else? Go anywhere? No. You were too sick to leave the apartment. And you stayed with me the whole time? Of course. Dr. Harrison spoke up. Can anyone verify your whereabouts that weekend, Mr. Reeves? Are you seriously asking me for an alibi from 7 months ago? I'm asking if anyone can corroborate your account of that weekend. It was just us. Mia was sick, I took care of her. There's no conspiracy here. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, blood work preliminary results are in. You need to see this now. Dr. Harrison's phone buzzed at the same time. He glanced at it, and his expression went cold. Mr. Reeves, I need you to leave now, he said. What? No. Not until someone tells me what's going on. Security, please escort Mr. Reeves out of the building. Two security officers who'd been standing in the hallway moved forward. Marcus backed up, hands raised. Mia, don't let them do this. Please. Whatever they're telling you, whatever they think they found, just talk to me. Let me explain. Explain what? I asked. Whatever they think I did. I haven't accused you of anything. But you believe them. I can see it in your face. You believe I would hurt you. Would you? The question hung in the air between us. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Something I'd never seen before. Then it was gone, replaced by hurt and confusion. Never, he said. I love you. I love our baby. This is insane. Then take a paternity test, I said suddenly. If you're the father, prove it. His face went white. You think the baby isn't mine? I don't know what to think anymore. We tried for this baby. We planned this pregnancy. You know that. Do I? Because according to the medical evidence, I got pregnant before we were even living together. Before we were having regular sex. Before we were even engaged. The medical evidence is wrong. Prove it. Take the test. This is insane. You're my wife. That's my child. Then you have nothing to worry about. The security officers were getting closer. Marcus looked between them and me, something like panic in his eyes now. Mia, please. Don't do this. Don't let them poison you against me. I'm not doing anything except trying to understand what's happening to my own body. I'll take the test, he said quickly. I'll take whatever test you want. But please, just come home with me. Let's figure this out together. Dr. Harrison stepped forward. She's not going anywhere with you until we have answers. You can't keep her here against her will. I'm not keeping her. She's choosing to stay. Marcus looked at me. Is that true? You're choosing to stay here? To believe some doctor you barely know over your own husband? I'm choosing to get answers. From who? From him? Mia, you don't know anything about this guy. He could be making all of this up. Why would he? I don't know. Maybe he's attracted to you. Maybe he's got some savior complex. Maybe he's just incompetent and trying to cover up his own mistakes. By accusing you of drugging me? The words were out before I could stop them. Marcus froze. Drugging you? That's what he told you. That I've been drugging you? Have you? No. Jesus Christ, Mia, no. I bring you vitamins. Prenatal supplements. The same ones millions of pregnant women take. From where? What company? I don't know, some specialized pharmacy. The same place we got your prenatal vitamins before. Show me the bottles. What? The supplement bottles. You bring them to me every morning. Where are they? At home. What brand? I don't memorize the labels, Mia. I just buy what the pharmacist recommends. What pharmacist? What's the pharmacy called? I don't remember. It's been months. You don't remember where you've been buying my daily supplements for months? He was stammering now. It's online. I order them online. Show me the order history. I don't have my laptop. Show me on your phone. Why are you interrogating me? What happened to innocent until proven guilty? No one's accused you of anything criminal, Dr. Harrison said. Yet. Yet? So that's where this is going? You're going to try to have me arrested? That depends on what the blood work shows. Marcus's face went from white to gray. Blood work? What blood work? Mrs. Reeves consented to a full toxicology panel. For what? Sedatives. Memory-affecting drugs. Anything that might explain her cognitive symptoms. She has cognitive symptoms because she's pregnant. Pregnancy brain is a real thing. To the degree she's experiencing? For this duration? That's not typical. You're not her doctor. You don't know what's typical for her. Actually, I am her doctor. And I've been her doctor throughout this pregnancy. I've documented every symptom, every concern, every irregularity. Irregularities you probably caused. The accusation was desperate. Marcus knew he was losing ground. Dr. Harrison remained calm. I caused the changes to the medical records? The unauthorized access to the patient portal? The supplements from a pharmacy you can't name? I can name it. I just need to check my email. Please do. Marcus pulled out his phone with shaking hands. Started scrolling. Kept scrolling. His face got progressively more panicked. I must have deleted the emails. I clean out my inbox regularly. How convenient. This is a setup. This is some kind of setup. By who? The entire hospital? The medical record system? The laboratory running the blood tests? Marcus turned to me, desperation clear now. Mia, please. You know me. You know I wouldn't hurt you. Someone is doing this to us. Trying to tear us apart. Who, Marcus? Who would do that? I don't know. But think about it. Who benefits if we split up? You tell me. No one. No one benefits. We're happy. We're having a baby. We're building a life together. And I have a trust fund that becomes accessible when I have that baby. His face changed. Just for a second. A flash of something that might have been guilt. That's not, the trust fund has nothing to do with this. Doesn't it? You think I married you for money? You think I got you pregnant for money? I think someone did. But not me. Mia, you have to believe me, not me. A knock on the door. A nurse I didn't recognize entered, handed Dr. Harrison a tablet. He read it, and his expression went from concern to furious. Mr. Reeves, you need to leave now. Security, remove him from the building. What does it say? Marcus demanded. What's in the blood work? Dr. Harrison turned the tablet toward me. I read the results. Felt the room tilt sideways. Benzodiazepines. Trace amounts, but present. In my blood. Right now. What are benzodiazepines? I asked, though part of me already knew. Sedatives, Dr. Harrison said. Commonly used to treat anxiety. But also used to impair memory and cognition when given in certain doses. I looked at Marcus. Really looked at him. At the man I'd married. The man I'd trusted with everything. Did you give me something this morning? I asked quietly. Your prenatal vitamin. Same as every day. What else? Nothing. Marcus, I have sedatives in my blood right now. This morning. Today. You gave me something this morning. It was just your vitamin. Then the vitamin is contaminated. Or it's not a vitamin at all. You're not thinking clearly. The pregnancy, the stress, this doctor putting ideas in your head. Get out, I said. Mia. Get out. Get away from me. Get out of this hospital. I'm not leaving you here with him. Security. Dr. Harrison called. The officers moved forward. Marcus tried to dodge them, reaching for me. Mia, please. Just listen to me for 1 minute. They grabbed his arms. He struggled, not violently, but firmly enough that they had to restrain him. I love you, he shouted as they pulled him toward the door. I love you and that baby. This is all a misunderstanding. The misunderstanding was me trusting you, I said. His face crumpled. For a moment, he looked genuinely devastated. Then the door closed, and he was gone. I sat in the silence that followed, staring at the blood work results on the tablet. What does this mean? I finally asked. How long has he been drugging me? Based on your symptoms and timeline, possibly months. Maybe longer. And the pregnancy? I won't know for certain until we can do DNA testing. But given the timing, given the memory loss you experienced 7 months ago, given the pattern of manipulation. He paused. I think there's a strong possibility your husband is not the biological father of your baby. The words should have destroyed me. Should have shattered my entire world. Instead, I felt strangely numb. What do I do now? I asked. Now, we document everything. We secure the supplements from your house with a police escort. We run paternity testing. We get you somewhere safe while we build a case. A case for what? What crime has he committed? At minimum? Drugging you without consent. Potentially assault if the pregnancy occurred while you were incapacitated. Fraud if he married you for access to your trust fund. Possibly conspiracy if anyone else is involved. Who else would be involved? I don't know yet. But someone helped him access those other medical facilities. Someone may have helped orchestrate whatever happened 7 months ago. My mind was reeling. I need to call my lawyer. Good idea. And my family. Also good. And I stopped. What did I need? My whole life had just imploded. I need to know whose baby I'm carrying. We can arrange amniocentesis for DNA testing. It's safe at this stage. How long for results? A few days for preliminary. Longer for conclusive. And until then? Until then, you stay somewhere Marcus can't find you. And you don't consume anything he's given you. No supplements, no vitamins, nothing. I took my prenatal vitamin this morning. The one he gave me. Right before I came here. I know. That's why we tested you. That's why we have evidence. So he drugged me today. This morning. Knowing I had a doctor's appointment. Probably to keep you compliant. Suggestible. Easy to redirect if I asked uncomfortable questions. Except he wasn't here. He missed the appointment for the first time ever. Maybe he knew I was getting suspicious. Maybe he was creating distance. Or maybe. I stopped, a horrible thought occurring to me. Maybe he was planning something else. Maybe the drugs were stronger today because. I couldn't finish the sentence. Couldn't voice the terrible possibility. Because what? Dr. Harrison asked gently. What if he was planning to hurt me? Or the baby? What if he got what he needed from the trust fund and now we're a liability? The trust fund doesn't become accessible until after the birth. Are you sure? Maybe there's a clause. Maybe if something happened to me during pregnancy. Do you have a will? The question hit me like ice water. I made one after we got married. Marcus helped me with it. And who's the beneficiary? Marcus. Obviously. He's my husband. What about the trust fund specifically? It goes to my child if I die. But if the child dies too, then it goes to, oh God. It goes to your husband. I nodded, feeling sick. So if something happened to both of us, I said slowly, he'd get everything. The trust fund. My life insurance. The house. How much life insurance? 500,000. Marcus convinced me to increase it when I got pregnant. Said we needed to protect our family. Dr. Harrison's expression was grim. I think we need to involve the police right now. Not just as an escort. As investigators. You think he's planning to kill me? I think someone who's been systematically drugging you, manipulating your medical records, and potentially impregnating you while you were incapacitated is capable of anything. The door opened. Jenny stuck her head in, looking worried. Dr. Harrison? Security just called. Mr. Reeves left the building, but he's sitting in his car in the parking lot. He's not leaving. Is he on hospital property? Technically no. He's in the public lot across the street. But he's watching the exits. Yes. I felt panic rising. He's waiting for me to leave. You're not leaving, Dr. Harrison said firmly. Not until we have a plan. I can't stay in a hospital forever. No. But you can stay here until the police arrive and we can arrange a safe location. Witness protection? For my own husband? If necessary. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be my life. 2 hours ago, I'd been a happily married pregnant woman. Now I was potentially the victim of a long-term drugging scheme and possibly a murder plot. I need to think, I said. I need to process this. I understand. But we don't have a lot of time. If Marcus realizes we're building a case, if he knows you're not coming home tonight, he may do something desperate. Like what? I don't know. But desperate people make mistakes. And I'd rather you be somewhere safe when he makes his. A nurse knocked and entered without waiting for permission. Dr. Harrison, there's a Detective Morrison on the phone. He says it's urgent. Dr. Harrison's expression changed. I'll take it in my office. He looked at me. Don't go anywhere. Jenny stays with you. He left. Jenny sat down across from me, her young face creased with concern. This is the craziest shift I've ever had, she said. Tell me about it. For what it's worth, I think you're incredibly brave. Brave? I'm sitting here shaking. You're sitting here getting answers instead of going home to someone who might hurt you. That's brave. Or stupid. I still don't know which. My phone rang. Marcus again. I sent it to voicemail. Immediately, a text came through, I know you're scared. I know this looks bad. But I can explain everything if you just give me a chance. Please, Mia. For our baby. Give me a chance to explain. I showed it to Jenny. What do you think? I think abusers are really good at sounding reasonable when they need to be. You think he's an abuser? I think he's been controlling your medical information, your medication, and your understanding of your own pregnancy. I think that's absolutely abuse. She was right. Even if everything else turned out to be a misunderstanding, that much was undeniably true. Another text, I'm not leaving until I talk to you. Another, I'll sit in this parking lot all night if I have to. Another, you're my wife. That's my baby. I have rights. The texts were coming faster now. Less loving, more insistent. I deserve to know what you're accusing me of. You can't just shut me out. This is my life too. Talk to me. Now. I watched the messages pile up. Watched the tone shift from pleading to demanding. Watched the mask slip in real time. If this story resonates with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more true stories like this. And comment below telling me where you're watching from. I love hearing from all of you around the world. Dr. Harrison came back in, his face grave. Detective Morrison is on his way. He wants to interview you about the drugging. And he wants to send officers to your house to collect the supplements and any other evidence. What did you tell him? Everything. The modified records, the blood work, the timeline inconsistencies, your memory loss. He's treating this as a potential assault case. Assault? You mean rape? If you were incapacitated and someone had sexual contact with you without your consent, yes. That's rape. The clinical term made it somehow more real and more horrifying. I can't remember, I said. I can't remember if anything happened that weekend. If Marcus or someone else. The DNA testing will help answer that question. And if it's not Marcus? If it's some random person? If he orchestrated something even worse than I'm imagining? Then we deal with that when we know. Right now, we focus on keeping you safe. My phone rang again. Not Marcus this time. My mother. I answered without thinking. Mom? Mia. Thank God. I just got the strangest call from Marcus. He said you're in the hospital and won't talk to him. What's going on? Is the baby okay? Marcus had called my mother. Of course he had. Building his narrative. Playing the concerned husband. Mom, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Don't believe anything Marcus tells you. What? Why? Sweetheart, what's happening? I can't explain everything right now. But I need you to not talk to him. Don't tell him anything about me. Don't tell him if you hear from me. Nothing. You're scaring me. I'm scared too. But I'm safe. I'm at the hospital and I'm safe. With the baby? The baby's fine. But Mom, I think Marcus has been drugging me. I think he's been lying about a lot of things. Silence on the other end. Then, I'm coming there. No, don't. Marcus is in the parking lot watching the exits. Then I'll have your father with me. That man isn't going to intimidate us. Mom. We're 30 minutes away. We're coming. She hung up. I looked at Dr. Harrison helplessly. My parents are coming. That's probably good. You need support. Marcus might try to stop them. Or follow them. Or. The police will be here before your parents. We'll make sure everyone stays safe. Another text from Marcus, did you call your mother? What are you telling people? How did he know? Unless. Is my phone tracked? I asked suddenly. Dr. Harrison's eyes widened. Possibly. Do you have location sharing turned on? I don't know. Marcus set up most of my phone settings. Give it to me. I handed over my phone. He pulled up settings, tapped through menus, and his face darkened. You have 3 location tracking apps installed. One is Find My Phone. The other 2 I don't recognize. Can he see where I am right now? He can see that you're at the hospital. He probably can't see what floor or room, but he knows you haven't left. So he knows I'm still here. Yes. And if I tried to leave, he'd know that too. Yes. So I'm trapped. Not trapped. Protected. There's a difference. But it didn't feel like a difference. It felt like Marcus had been monitoring my every movement. For how long? Months? Since we got married? Longer? I need a new phone, I said. Agreed. The police can help arrange that. Jenny's radio crackled again. She answered, listened, then looked at me with concern. Your husband is approaching the building again. Security is intercepting. What does he want? He says he needs to give you something. Something you forgot. My blood ran cold. I didn't forget anything. I know. Dr. Harrison moved to the door. Tell security under no circumstances is he to enter this building. If he tries, they call the police immediately. Jenny relayed the message. We waited in tense silence. Then my phone buzzed with a text. A photo. It was my supplement bottles. All of them. Lined up on our kitchen counter. The text read, you forgot to take your evening vitamins. I know you need them. I can bring them to you. He's telling me he knows, I said, showing Dr. Harrison. He knows we're looking at the supplements. He's threatening to destroy the evidence. Screenshot that message. Right now. I did. Sent it to Dr. Harrison's phone. Another text from Marcus, or I can just dispose of them if you don't need them anymore. No sense keeping expired vitamins around. He's going to destroy them, I said. Dr. Harrison was already on his phone. Detective Morrison? We have a situation. The suspect is threatening to destroy evidence. Yes, the supplements. He's texting her photos of them right now. I understand time is critical. He hung up. They're sending a unit to your house immediately. But they may not get there in time. So he wins? He gets to destroy the evidence? Not necessarily. We have your blood work. That's solid evidence of recent drugging. The supplements would corroborate the pattern, but they're not the only proof. Another text from Marcus, still waiting for you to talk to me like an adult. Still sitting here. Still hoping you'll remember who I am to you. The manipulation was breathtaking. Positioning himself as the reasonable one. Me as the hysterical pregnant woman. I need to see him, I said suddenly. Absolutely not. Not alone. Not unsupervised. But I need to look him in the eye and hear what he has to say. Mia, that's not safe. He's not going to hurt me in a hospital with security present. But maybe I can get him to admit something. Maybe if he thinks he still has a chance with me, he'll slip up. Or maybe he'll manipulate you into doubting everything we've uncovered. I won't let him. You can't be sure of that. This is a man who's been controlling your reality for months. Possibly longer. Which is exactly why I need to face him. I need to prove to myself that I can. Dr. Harrison studied my face. If we do this, it's under strict conditions. Security present. Conversation recorded. Me in the room. And at any sign of distress, we end it immediately. Agreed. And you wear a panic button. One press and security removes him instantly. Fine. Mia, I really don't think. I need this. I need to know if the man I married is still in there somewhere, or if he was always this person and I just couldn't see it. He sighed. Let me talk to security about the setup. While he was gone, Jenny helped me to the bathroom, stayed outside while I threw up from stress and pregnancy hormones and betrayal. When I came out, she handed me water and a damp cloth. You don't have to do this, she said gently. I know. He might say things that hurt. Things designed to make you doubt yourself. I know that too. Then why? Because I need to stop being afraid of him. And the only way to do that is to face him. 10 minutes later, they had everything set up. A different room, bigger, with security cameras visible in all corners. 2 guards stationed at the door. Dr. Harrison in the corner with a tablet, ready to document everything. And me, sitting in a chair with a panic button clipped to my hospital gown, waiting for my husband to be brought in. When the door opened and Marcus walked in, everything in me wanted to run. He looked terrible. Hair disheveled, tie loosened, eyes red like he'd been crying. When he saw me, his whole face crumpled with relief. Oh, thank God, he breathed. Mia, I've been so worried. Sit down, Marcus. The firmness in my voice stopped him mid-step. He looked at the chair across from me, at the security guards, at Dr. Harrison. This feels like an interrogation. It's a conversation. Sit. He sat. Slowly. Looked at me with those eyes I'd once thought were so loving. I don't understand what's happening, he said. I don't understand why you're treating me like a criminal. Did you drug me this morning? Direct question. No preamble. I watched his face carefully. I gave you your vitamins. Same as every day. Were they vitamins? Of course they were vitamins. Then why do I have benzodiazepines in my blood? He blinked. That's not possible. The blood work doesn't lie, Marcus. Then the test is wrong. Or contaminated. Or you've been drugging me for months and finally got caught. No. Mia, no. I would never do that to you. Then explain the blood test. I can't explain it. Maybe someone at the hospital made a mistake. Maybe the lab mixed up samples. And the modified medical records? Did the lab mix those up too? He was sweating now. I could see it on his forehead. I don't know anything about modified records. Someone with access to my patient portal changed dates and measurements. Someone who knew my login credentials. Lots of people could have gotten those. hackers, scammers. It was you, Marcus. It wasn't. Then take a polygraph. Right now. Let's get a polygraph examiner in here and you can prove you're telling the truth. He hesitated. Just for a second. But I saw it. I don't need to prove anything. You're my wife. You should trust me. Trust? You want to talk about trust? How about the trust one had when I married you? When I let you control my medical information? When I took supplements you gave me without question? Those supplements were helping you. Helping me what? Forget things? Stay compliant? Stay confused enough that I wouldn't question your timeline? What timeline? Mia, you're not making sense. The pregnancy timeline, Marcus. The one that says I conceived 7 months ago, not 4. The one that says this baby was conceived when we weren't even living together. His face went pale. The measurements are wrong. We know when you got pregnant. Napa Valley. Our anniversary trip. Do we? Because I don't remember much about that trip. Just like I don't remember much about that weekend 7 months ago when I was so sick. You had food poisoning. Did I? Or did you drug me then too? Did you do something to me while I was incapacitated? No. God, Mia, no. How can you even think that? Because the evidence says otherwise. Because the timeline says otherwise. Because my own blood says otherwise. I was shouting now. The guards moved closer. Dr. Harrison stood up from his corner. Marcus held up his hands in surrender. Okay. Okay, just, let me explain. Please. Let me explain everything and then if you still want me to leave, I'll leave. I gestured for the guards to back off. Took a breath. Explain. He ran his hands through his hair. It's not what you think. Any of it. Yes, I've been giving you supplements. But they weren't to hurt you. They were to help you. Help me forget things? Help you stay calm. You were so stressed about the pregnancy. So anxious all the time. I just wanted you to relax. So you drugged me without my knowledge or consent? I put mild sedatives in your vitamins. Very mild. Just enough to take the edge off your anxiety. The admission hung in the air like poison. You just confessed to drugging me. Not drugging. Medicating. There's a difference. Not legally there isn't. He seemed to realize his mistake. I was trying to help. The doctor said. What doctor? A psychiatrist. Dr. Caldwell. She said anxiety during pregnancy can be harmful to the baby. She prescribed the medication. And told you to slip it into my vitamins without my knowledge? She said it would be better if you didn't know. That pregnant women sometimes refuse medication they need because they're worried about the baby. Do you have documentation of this? A prescription? It was a private consultation. Under whose name? He hesitated again. Mine. The prescription is in my name. So you took medication prescribed for you and gave it to me without telling me. When you put it like that. That's exactly what happened, Marcus. That's drugging. That's illegal. I was trying to protect our baby. Our baby? Is it our baby? The question stopped him cold. What? Is this baby biologically yours? Of course it is. Prove it. How? DNA test. Today. Right now. If you're the father, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not taking a DNA test. That's insulting. Why? If you're certain the baby is yours, why not prove it? Because I shouldn't have to. Because you should trust me. Like I trusted you with my vitamins? With my medical records? With my memory? He stood up abruptly. The guards moved forward. He froze. I can't do this, he said. I can't sit here and be accused of things I didn't do. You literally just admitted to drugging me. I medicated you. For your own good. That's completely different. Not to the police, it won't be. His face changed. Fear now, real fear. You called the police? They're on their way. Mia, don't do this. Please. Think about what this means. Think about our life together. Our future. What future, Marcus? The one where you keep drugging me? The one where you control every aspect of my medical care? The one where you maybe, possibly, aren't even the father of my baby? I am the father. Then prove it. Fine. He was shouting now. Fine, I'll take your stupid test. I'll prove it's my baby and then you'll see how wrong you've been about all of this. Great. Let's do it right now. Dr. Harrison stepped forward. I can arrange for a paternity test immediately. It will require amniocentesis. I don't care what it requires, Marcus snapped. Just do it. Something in his confidence made me nervous. He was too willing suddenly. Too eager. Unless he wasn't the father and he knew it. Unless he'd already planned for this possibility. Dr. Harrison, I said carefully. How long for results? Preliminary results in 48 hours. Full confirmation in a week. And in the meantime? In the meantime, Mrs. Reeves stays here under observation. She's not staying here, Marcus said. She's coming home with me. That's not your decision. She's my wife. That's my baby. I have rights. Actually, a new voice said from the doorway, you don't. We all turned. A man in a suit stood there, badge visible on his belt. Detective Morrison, he introduced himself. Mr. Reeves, I need you to come with me. We have some questions about the medications you've been administering to your wife. Marcus's face went white. I want a lawyer. That's your right. But you're going to need to come to the station to exercise it. Am I under arrest? Not yet. But we are investigating several serious crimes, and your cooperation would be appreciated. What crimes? Giving my wife vitamins? Administering controlled substances without consent. Potential assault. Falsification of medical records. Should I continue? Marcus looked at me. Really looked at me. And what I saw in his eyes wasn't love or hurt or confusion. It was calculation. He was figuring out his next move. How to spin this. How to maintain control. Mia, he said softly. Please. Don't let them do this. We can work through this together. We can't, I said. We're done. You don't mean that. I do. I want you out of my life. Away from me and my baby. My baby. We'll see what the DNA test says. He laughed. Actually laughed. A bitter, broken sound. You really think I'm not the father? You really think I would go through all this for someone else's kid? I don't know what to think anymore. But I know I don't trust you. I know I don't feel safe with you. And I know I want you gone. Detective Morrison gestured to the security guards. Escort Mr. Reeves out of the building. If he resists, arrest him for trespassing. They moved toward Marcus. He backed up, hands raised. This isn't over, he said to me. You're making a huge mistake. The mistake was trusting you. They led him out. His protests echoed down the hallway until a door closed and cut them off. I sat in the sudden silence, shaking. Dr. Harrison put a hand on my shoulder. You did the right thing. Then why do I feel so terrible? Because you loved him. Because you thought you knew him. Because finding out someone isn't who you thought they were is one of the hardest things a person can experience. What happens now? Now, we run the paternity test. We wait for the full toxicology results. The police investigate the medical records tampering. And you rest. I can't rest. I can't turn my brain off. You can try. For the baby's sake. The baby. My baby. Who might not be Marcus's. Who might be the result of something I couldn't even remember. I need to know whose baby this is, I whispered. Soon. The test will tell us soon. But soon felt like forever. And in the meantime, I was left with nothing but questions and fear and the growing life inside me that might be proof of the worst violation I could imagine. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother, "We're here." Which floor? At least I wouldn't be alone. My parents were coming. Detective Morrison was investigating. Dr. Harrison was helping me piece together the truth. But Marcus was still out there. Still calculating. Still dangerous. And I had no idea what he would do next. The next 48 hours were the longest of my life. My parents arrived and were horrified by everything Dr. Harrison told them. My father wanted to find Marcus and handle it himself. My mother just held me and cried. The police searched my house and collected the supplement bottles. The preliminary analysis came back within 24 hours. The prenatal vitamins contained high doses of benzodiazepines mixed with something else they were still identifying. My blood work came back with more detail. I'd been regularly dosed with sedatives for at least 3 months, possibly longer based on trace markers in my system. The paternity test was performed. 48 hours for preliminary results, they said. I stayed at the hospital. Not because I medically needed to, but because it felt safe. Detective Morrison stationed an officer outside my room. Marcus was forbidden from coming within 500 feet of the hospital. He tried anyway. Security cameras caught him in the parking garage at 2 in the morning, trying to find a way into the building. Police arrested him for violating the protective order I'd filed. He spent the night in jail and was released on bail the next morning. His lawyer called me. I didn't answer. His mother called me. Crying, begging me to drop the charges, insisting Marcus would never hurt anyone. I hung up on her. Marcus himself sent emails. Long, rambling explanations about anxiety and stress and just trying to help. About how much he loved me. About how this was all a terrible misunderstanding. I deleted them without reading past the first paragraph. And through it all, I waited for the DNA results. Dr. Harrison came to see me on the morning of the second day. He had a folder in his hands and an expression I couldn't read. The preliminary results are in, he said. My mother grabbed my hand. My father stood up from his chair. Tell me, I said. Marcus is not the biological father of your baby. The room spun. Even though I'd suspected it, even though I'd prepared myself, hearing it confirmed was devastating. Then who? I whispered. That's a more complicated question. The DNA shows some unusual markers. I've sent it to a specialist for further analysis. What kind of unusual? The specialist will be able to explain it better than I can. But Mia, I need to ask you something. Do you have any siblings? No. I'm an only child. Why? Cousins? Close family members? A few cousins, but I barely see them. Dr. Harrison, what's going on? He hesitated. The DNA suggests a familial relationship between you and the father. Not parent-child, but something closer than unrelated. The implication hit me like a truck. You think one of my family members. I think we need to wait for the specialist's report before drawing conclusions. But yes, the preliminary data suggests the father shares significant genetic markers with you. My mother's face went white. That's not possible. Our family would never. Mom, I interrupted. Do you know something? No. Of course not. This is insane. All of it. But she wouldn't meet my eyes. Mom. Mia, I don't know anything about this. But you suspect something. I can see it on your face. She looked at my father. Some silent communication passed between them. What? I demanded. What aren't you telling me? My father sighed heavily. 7 months ago, do you remember your cousin David visiting? David. My second cousin on my mother's side. I'd met him maybe twice in my life at family reunions. Vaguely. Why? He was in town for a medical conference. He asked if he could stay with you instead of getting a hotel. Memories stirred. Foggy, incomplete memories. I don't remember him staying with me. You told us he did. You said he stayed for a weekend, was very polite, left without any issues. I don't remember any of that. My parents exchanged another look. What else? I asked. What else did I tell you about that weekend? That you weren't feeling well, my mother said quietly. That you'd had some kind of flu bug. That David had been very helpful, made you soup, made sure you were okay. The same story Marcus had told about taking care of me. Except it hadn't been Marcus at all. Did Marcus know David was there? I asked. I don't know. You'd have to ask. My father trailed off. Actually, I remember you mentioning that Marcus was out of town that weekend. A work trip. Everything was clicking into place in the most horrible way possible. I need to talk to David, I said. David moved to Europe 6 months ago, my mother said. Some research position in Geneva. How convenient. Mia, you can't possibly think David would. I can't think anything because I can't remember. But the DNA doesn't lie, and if it shows familial markers, and David is the only family member who was around at the right time. We need to wait for the specialist's report, Dr. Harrison interjected. Before we make accusations. How long? She's reviewing it now. Should have answers by end of day. End of day felt like an eternity. Detective Morrison came by an hour later. He'd been investigating Marcus's background and had found some concerning information. Your husband has significant debt, he said. Over $300,000 in losses from day trading. Money he'd hidden from you in separate accounts. I didn't know he day traded. According to his financial records, he started about a year ago. Right around the time you got engaged. So he needed money. Desperately. And your trust fund would solve that problem. But the trust fund required me to have a baby. Exactly. The pieces were assembling into a nightmarish picture. You think Marcus and David worked together, I said slowly. David got me pregnant while I was drugged. Marcus married me and maintained the drugging to keep me from realizing the pregnancy timeline was wrong. And they were going to share the trust fund money. That's one theory. Do you have evidence? We're working on it. We subpoenaed Marcus's phone records and financial transactions. We're trying to locate David for questioning. He's in Europe. We know. We've contacted Interpol. This was insane. This was absolutely insane. Is there anything else? I asked. Any other horrible revelations I should prepare for? Detective Morrison hesitated. There's something else. About your life insurance policy. What about it? Marcus increased it 6 months ago. To $2 million. He told me it was $500,000. The actual policy is $2 million. And he's the sole beneficiary. I thought I might throw up. He was planning to kill me. We don't have proof of that. But combined with everything else. How was he going to do it? How do you kill a pregnant woman and make it look accidental? Pregnancy complications. Medical emergencies. They happen. And with you already being medicated with sedatives, if something went wrong, if you didn't wake up one morning. My mother started crying. My father looked like he wanted to murder someone. I want full police protection, I said. I want Marcus arrested. I want him nowhere near me. We're building a case. But Mia, I need to be honest with you. Right now, what we have is circumstantial. The drugging is provable. The financial motive is clear. But without direct evidence of conspiracy with David, without proof of intent to harm, a good lawyer might get most of this dismissed. So he might get away with it. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen. But the uncertainty was terrifying. The specialist's report came back that evening. Dr. Harrison brought it to me personally, his expression grave. The DNA analysis confirms what we suspected. The biological father shares approximately 12.5% of your genetic markers. That's consistent with a second cousin. David. Most likely, yes. But we'd need a direct sample from him to confirm. Which we won't get because he's conveniently in Europe. Interpol is working on it. And in the meantime, I'm pregnant with my second cousin's baby because I was drugged and assaulted while my fiancé knew about it and used it to access my trust fund. Saying it out loud made it real. Made it undeniable. I want to terminate the pregnancy, I said. My mother gasped. Mia, you can't. This baby is the result of rape. Of conspiracy. Of the worst violation I can imagine. I don't want it. Dr. Harrison spoke gently. That's absolutely your right. But I'd encourage you to take some time to think about it. You're 28 weeks along. Late-term termination is more complicated, both medically and emotionally. I don't need time. I've thought about nothing else for 2 days. This baby was never supposed to exist. I was assaulted. Used. And every day I stay pregnant is another day Marcus benefits from his plan. The trust fund won't release until after birth anyway, my father said quietly. Terminating won't change that aspect. But it will change everything else. It will take away their win. It will take away the reason for all of this. It will also take away an innocent life, my mother said softly. There are no innocent lives here. This baby is the product of rape and conspiracy. This baby is still a baby. Still a life. Still your child, regardless of how it was conceived. I wanted to argue. But she was right, and I hated her for it. I can't do this, I whispered. I can't carry and birth a baby that reminds me every day of what was done to me. Then give it up for adoption, she suggested. Carry to term, give birth, and let someone else raise it. Someone who'll love it and never know the horrible circumstances of its conception. The idea had merit. But the thought of staying pregnant for 3 more months, knowing what I knew, felt unbearable. I need time to think, I finally said. Take all the time you need, Dr. Harrison said. This is your decision. No one else's. That night, alone in my hospital room, I lay with my hands on my belly and felt the baby move. Strong kicks. Healthy movement. A growing life that had no idea it was conceived in violence and deception. My phone buzzed. A blocked number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Mia. Marcus's voice. Please don't hang up. How did you get this number? I need to talk to you. I need to explain. There's nothing to explain. I know everything. You don't. You don't know the full story. Then tell me. He was quiet for a long moment. Can we meet? Face to face? Absolutely not. Then can I just talk? Can you just listen? Every instinct told me to hang up. But I needed to hear this. Needed to understand how someone I'd loved could do something so monstrous. You have 5 minutes, I said. Thank you. Okay. So, first, I love you. That part was always real. Don't. It's true. I fell in love with you the moment we met. But I also saw an opportunity. The trust fund. Your inheritance. I needed money, yes, but I also genuinely wanted to build a life with you. By drugging me? That came later. After David told me what he'd done. My blood ran cold. David told you? He called me 6 months ago. Said he'd been visiting you, things had gotten out of hand, he thought you might be pregnant. Things got out of hand? He raped me while I was drugged. He said you were both drunk. That it was consensual. I was unconscious. I didn't know that. He told me it was mutual, that you'd regretted it after, that you'd asked him not to tell anyone. And you believed him? I wanted to believe him. Because the alternative meant what actually happened. So when did you figure out the truth? When you told me you were pregnant. When the timing didn't match up with when we'd been together. I did the math. I knew the baby couldn't be mine. And instead of telling me, instead of going to the police, you married me anyway and started drugging me to keep me confused. I was going to tell you. I swear I was. But then I thought about the money, about my debts, about how much I needed this to work out. And I convinced myself that if you never knew, if I could just keep you from finding out until after the baby was born and the trust fund released, then we could all be happy. Happy? You thought drugging me and lying to me would make us happy? I thought ignorance would be better than the truth. I thought if you never knew about David, never knew the baby wasn't mine, then we could just be a family. A real family. Built on lies and assault and manipulation. I know. I know how it sounds. But Mia, I really did love you. I still love you. And I love that baby, even if it's not biologically mine. You don't get to love the baby. You don't get to love me. You drugged me. You participated in covering up a rape. You were planning to kill me for insurance money. What? No. I never planned to hurt you. The $2 million life insurance policy says otherwise. That was standard financial planning. In case something happened during childbirth. It wasn't a plan, it was protection. Protection for you. Everything was protection for you. Your debts, your future, your financial security. You never cared about me or the baby. We were just assets to be managed. He was crying now. I could hear it in his voice. That's not true. I did care. I do care. I made terrible choices, but they came from a place of desperation, not malice. Desperation that led you to drug me daily. To tamper with medical records. To let me believe I was having your baby when you knew I'd been raped by my own cousin. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If I could take it all back. But you can't. And sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't unrape me. Sorry doesn't give me back the months you stole from me with your drugs and lies. I know. But Mia, please. The police are going to arrest me. I'm probably going to prison. Before that happens, I just need you to know that I loved you. That part was real. No, it wasn't. You don't drug someone you love. You don't lie to them every single day. You don't build your life on their assault and trauma. That's not love. That's ownership. That's control. That's abuse. You're right. You're completely right. I was abusive. I was controlling. I was wrong about everything. So why are you calling me? What do you want? Forgiveness, I guess. Eventually. Not now, but someday. I want you to know I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to make this right. You can't make this right. I can try. I can testify against David. I can give the police everything they need to prosecute him. I can make sure he pays for what he did to you. You're trying to make a deal. I'm trying to help you get justice. By saving yourself in the process. By taking responsibility for my part and making sure the person who actually assaulted you faces consequences. He had a point. As much as I hated it, he had a point. Talk to Detective Morrison, I said. Tell him everything. If your testimony helps convict David, then maybe I'll consider not hating you quite as much. That's all I can ask for. That's all you're getting. Goodbye, Marcus. I hung up before he could respond. 2 weeks later, I was in a different hospital room. Not as a patient being observed, but as someone preparing to make an impossible choice. The adoption papers were in front of me. A lovely couple in their late 30s, unable to have children of their own, eager to provide a loving home. The termination consent forms were in front of me too. Still legal at this stage given the circumstances, though more complicated than it would have been earlier. And between them, ultrasound pictures of a healthy baby. My baby. Conceived in violence but growing nonetheless. Dr. Harrison sat with me. You don't have to decide today. I've been deciding for 2 weeks. I'm not any closer to an answer. That's okay. Is it? Because this baby is going to be born in 3 months whether I'm ready or not. Then maybe that's your answer. Maybe you see it through, give birth, and decide then whether to keep the baby or place it for adoption. What if I bond with it? What if I look at it and see David's face and can't stand to touch it? What if you look at it and just see a baby who needs love? You make it sound so simple. It's not simple. It's the hardest decision you'll ever make. But you don't have to make it alone, and you don't have to make it today. I looked at the papers. At the ultrasound pictures. At my own hands resting on my swollen belly. I think I want to meet the adoptive couple, I said finally. Before I decide anything else, I want to meet them and see if I can imagine giving them this baby. I can arrange that. And I want to testify against David and Marcus. I want them both to pay for what they did. Detective Morrison will be glad to hear that. And I want therapy. Lots of therapy. Because I don't know how to process any of this and I can't do it alone. Also easily arranged. I took a deep breath. Okay. So I guess that's the plan. Meet the couple. Testify. Get therapy. Figure out the rest as I go. That sounds like a good plan. It didn't feel good. It felt terrifying and overwhelming and impossible. But it was something. A path forward when everything felt like darkness. The adoptive couple's names were Sarah and James. They came to meet me at the hospital 3 days later, nervous and hopeful and so clearly desperate to become parents. Sarah was a teacher. James was a software engineer. They lived in a nice neighborhood, had a dog named Murphy, and had been trying to have a baby for 7 years before accepting that it wouldn't happen for them. We don't need to know details, Sarah said gently. We just need you to know that we'll love this baby with everything we have. Regardless of where it came from or how it was conceived. Even if it's the product of rape? I asked bluntly. They didn't flinch. Even then, James said. A baby is a baby. Innocent and deserving of love. What will you tell them? When they're older? About where they came from? That they were loved enough by their birth mother to be placed with people who could give them the life they deserved. That they were wanted and planned for and celebrated from the moment we knew about them. Not the truth though. Would you want us to tell them the truth? Sarah asked carefully. I thought about it. Thought about a child growing up knowing they were conceived in assault. Knowing their biological father was a rapist and their biological mother's husband was complicit. No, I said finally. I want them to have a normal childhood. A happy one. Without the burden of knowing any of this. Then that's what they'll have, James promised. I wanted to believe them. Wanted to trust that this baby could have a good life despite its terrible beginning. I have one condition, I said. If I go through with this, if I place the baby with you, I want updates. Not visits necessarily, but pictures. Letters. I want to know they're okay. Absolutely, Sarah said immediately. We'll send updates as often as you want. Monthly, quarterly, yearly. Whatever you need. And if someday they want to meet me, if they want to know about their biological family, I want that option to be available. We'll make sure of it. This will be an open adoption. As open as you want it to be. The relief was overwhelming. The idea that I didn't have to raise this baby myself but also didn't have to disappear from its life completely felt like the middle ground I'd been searching for. "Okay," I said. I think I want to do this. I think I want you to adopt my baby." Sarah started crying. James hugged her. And I sat there feeling a weight lift that I hadn't even fully realized I was carrying. The trial was 8 months later. I'd given birth by then, a healthy baby girl I'd held for exactly 10 minutes before Sarah and James took her home. Those 10 minutes were the hardest of my life. Looking at her face, seeing my features and maybe David's too, feeling love and revulsion and grief all tangled together. But Sarah had promised to send pictures. Had promised to love her. And that had to be enough. Marcus took a plea deal. Testified against David in exchange for reduced charges. He got 5 years for the drugging and medical records tampering, eligible for parole in 3. David fought extradition from Europe for months. But eventually the evidence was too strong, the charges too serious. He was arrested, brought back to the States, and charged with rape, conspiracy, and about 10 other things. His trial was brutal. I had to recount those missing days, explain the DNA evidence, describe the aftermath of discovering what had been done to me. His lawyer tried to paint it as consensual. Tried to suggest I'd regretted it after and made up the drugging story. But the evidence didn't lie. The blood work. The medical records. Marcus's testimony about David admitting what he'd done. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Found him guilty on all counts. He got 20 years. I sat in the courtroom and felt nothing. No relief, no satisfaction, no closure. Just emptiness. Afterward, outside on the courthouse steps, Detective Morrison found me. "You did good in there," he said. "Your testimony was powerful. It was necessary. Not the same thing. Still. You helped put away 2 dangerous men. That matters. Does it? They already took everything from me. My marriage, my trust in people, my ability to feel safe. What's 20 years in prison compared to that? It's justice. It's accountability. It's making sure they can't do this to anyone else. I guess that's something." He handed me a card. Victim services. Therapy, support groups, legal assistance if you need it. You don't have to do this alone. I know. I've been in therapy since this started. But thank you. He nodded and walked away, leaving me standing there in the afternoon sun, wondering what came next. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. It was a picture of the baby, now 8 months old, smiling at the camera. Below it, "Charlotte took her first steps today. Thought you'd want to know. Charlotte." They'd named her Charlotte. I looked at the picture. At this tiny person I'd created but couldn't raise. This child who would grow up loved and safe and never knowing the darkness of her origins. And for the first time in months, I felt something like hope. Maybe I couldn't undo what had been done to me. Maybe I'd carry these scars forever. But Charlotte wouldn't. Charlotte would have a different life. A better one. And maybe that was enough. Maybe that was how I survived this. One day at a time. One picture at a time. One small hope at a time. I texted back, "She's beautiful. Thank you for sharing." And for just that moment, standing there with the sun on my face and a picture of a smiling baby on my phone, I thought maybe I could actually do this. Maybe I could actually survive. 6 months later, I was in a coffee shop when someone sat down across from me. I looked up, ready to tell them the seat was taken even though it wasn't. But the words died in my throat. It was Marcus. He looked different. Thinner, grayer, older than his 34 years. Prison had aged him. "I know I'm not supposed to be within 500 feet of you," he said quietly. "I'll leave if you want. But I needed to see you. To say something I should have said a long time ago. I should have called the police." Should have gotten a restraining order violation on his record. Instead, I said, "You have 2 minutes. I know sorry isn't enough. I know I can't fix what I did or undo the harm I caused. But I need you to know that every day in prison, I think about you. About what I took from you. About the trust one betrayed. Is that supposed to make me feel better? No. It's supposed to let you know that I'm not walking around thinking I'm a victim here. I know what I am. I know what I did. Good. Now leave. David sends his regards from prison, by the way. Says he thinks about you too." My blood ran cold. "You're in contact with David?" "Same facility. Different blocks, but word gets around. He wanted me to tell you he's sorry too. I don't want his apologies. I don't want anything from either of you." "Fair enough." He stood up. For what it's worth, I saw the birth announcement. Sarah and James sent me a picture. Said you'd agreed to let them tell me when the baby was born. They what? Don't be mad at them. I reached out. Asked if there was any way to know the baby was okay. They were kind enough to send one picture. No name, no details, just a picture to let me know she was healthy. You don't get to know about her. You don't get to have any part of her life. I know. And I won't contact them again. I just needed to see her once. To know that something good came from all the terrible things I did. Nothing good came from what you did. That baby exists despite you, not because of you. You're right. He turned to leave, then paused. You're going to be okay, Mia. I know you don't believe it now, but you will. You're stronger than you know. Don't. What? Don't try to be supportive or encouraging or whatever this is. You don't get to care about my well-being. You don't get to have opinions about my future. You lost that right when you decided to drug me daily and cover up my rape. You're right. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing and just leave." He left. I sat there shaking, coffee forgotten, wondering if I'd ever truly be free of this. If there would ever come a day when I didn't look over my shoulder or wonder if someone was lying to me. My phone rang. My therapist, Dr. Chen, for our weekly check-in. "Hi," I answered. "Something just happened." "Tell me." So I did. Told her about Marcus showing up, about what he said, about David being in the same prison. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Violated. Again. Like I can't escape them even though they're both in prison." "That makes sense. They took your sense of safety. That's not something that just comes back." "Will it ever come back?" "Parts of it. With time and work and support. But Mia, you need to hear this. What happened to you was not your fault. The fact that you're still dealing with the aftermath doesn't mean you're weak or broken. It means you survived something terrible and you're doing the hard work of healing. It doesn't feel like healing. It feels like drowning. Healing often does. But you're still here. Still fighting. Still showing up to therapy and taking care of yourself and making hard choices about what you need. That's not drowning. That's surviving." I wanted to believe her. "There's something else," I said. "Sarah sent another picture yesterday. Charlotte's first birthday. How did that feel?" "Sad. But also relieved. She looks happy. Really happy. And I know I made the right choice, but it still hurts. Both things can be true. You can know you made the right choice and still grieve what you lost. I didn't just lose the baby. I lost the life I thought I had. The marriage, the trust, the belief that people are fundamentally good. Some people are good. Sarah and James are good. Your parents are good. I'd like to think I'm trying to be good. You are. Then hold on to that. Hold on to the people who show up for you, who believe you, who help you heal. Let them be your evidence that good people exist." We talked for another 30 minutes. By the time I hung up, I felt slightly less like I was drowning. I pulled up the picture of Charlotte. 1-year-old, cake smeared on her face, joy in her eyes. She would never know what I'd been through to bring her into the world. She would never know about David or Marcus or any of it. She would just know Sarah and James. No love and safety and normalcy. And maybe that was my gift to her. The one good thing that came from all this darkness. I couldn't change what happened to me. Couldn't undo the assault or the drugging or the betrayal. But I could make sure Charlotte had a different story. A better one. And for now, that had to be enough. I finished my coffee, gathered my things, and walked out into the afternoon sun. One day at a time. One step at a time. One small hope at a time. Maybe I really would be okay. Maybe survival was enough. Maybe someday, it would even feel like living again.